right, welcome to another episode of the Ricky Henderson podcast, the greatest of all podcasts, GOAP. We're doing it old school, just me and Hal today. I'm your co-host Alex Espinoza with my co-host Dr. Hot Dog Hal Gordon.
Hey, hot dog.
It's weird without having an interview here, but I think we have enough emotions to unload here to talk about. As the A's are, they only have a few games left in their season, and as far as we know, in their time in Oakland. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I called you up, Alex. I watched your Ricky report. If you're a podcast only listener, Alex throws up occasionally. He throws up shorter content on YouTube,
they're getting
which
longer, dude. It's getting like
yeah,
they're getting huge,
you need to
actually.
just start putting that on the podcast.
Yeah,
We
I
were we
should
were
I
talking
should
about
just
it.
yeah, yeah.
You should throw that. You should still throw that up, I think. But I watched it and I was getting all the feels. And I'm out here in Washington, DC. My wife still has not given birth. She's now 10 days overdue. So we're going in for the induction tomorrow. But I thought,
Oh, really? Oh,
this is
wow.
yeah. So this is the last chance to record another pod. But Alex, you went to the game last night against the Yankees.
Yeah,
That was
Friday
the
night.
first
Yeah.
the first game of their final homestand in Oakland ever. What was it like? How'd you feel?
I mean, you could feel like a different energy, really. I felt it like as soon as I got off BART. You get to the BART ramp and everybody, all the vendors right now are selling all of these like, oh, last game ever, like farewell to the Coliseum. Like it's just the imagery is as soon as you walk up there is just like it kind of hits you. And Um, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, I know that the Roots are going to play there next year. They're going to have 17 home games there next year at the Coliseum, but it's like there's something about like the pilgrimage during an A's game and you smell those dogs and you see the A's memorabilia and I'm really going to miss that. I mean, I know it's still going to be there next year or whatever, but it's just not the same. So you can feel it initially, and then I got my Ricky Henderson bobblehead, which was sick. Um,
Yep.
but then like before the game, I was like sitting up in left field, and it felt like a music festival or something. I don't know. I can't. It was like yeah, like the music was going, and like the treehouse had a DJ, but it was just like this really good vibe in the air,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the game. But at one point, I just went up to the very top deck, top row of the third deck, and just kind of look over everything, and it still has like it's this aftertaste of like fuck, like this sucks because I actually am having fun, and this is great but it's leaving, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, the experience is still fun, but it's hard to, like people say it's like a funeral. It's like, it's hard to shake that ominous dark cloud, as much fun as it is and everything, So, it's just a lot of
Yeah.
emotions, I don't even think I'm angry. I think I'm just sad, honestly, you know. I think it's more sadness than anything. Yeah.
Yeah. When we first got on before we started recording, you told me, fuck, I just want this to be over, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like a weird torture. It's like yeah, it's like agonizing, It's
It's
like
agonizing.
yeah, you just want it to like I don't know. It's just it's almost like I want it to be over just so I don't have to go through. It's just kind of like tugs and kind of puts you through the grinder every time you go through that stadium, And it's I was there with my brother too. I sat with him for a couple innings, and he was the one who really got me into baseball in the first place anyway. He was 2 years older than me, so obviously I was tagging along, doing whatever he did. He was good at baseball when we were kids, so to go there with him last night was cool. I went to a game just me and him the other last week, and it's just yeah, it just still it's I don't know. I think the sting is actually getting worse as we get closer, and it's just like damn, just got to get through these 4 or 5 days, and then then I just don't have to worry about it anymore. But it's weird. Like I want to go to every game, but I it's hard for me to do it. So I think I'm gonna go there on Tuesday, Thursday. I'm still debating if I want to go Wednesday, but for sure gonna be there on Thursday and Tuesday. So we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It, I think, when we realized it was going to be the last game, and I realized when my wife was due, I just knew, maybe she's like 2 weeks early or something. Then maybe I'll be able to, you know, then like the kid will be like a month old. Maybe I could just go for one day out to Oakland.
Just come out
But
for Thursday or something. Yeah.
yeah, definitely not gonna be able to come out for this game. But I am not that upset that I'm not gonna be there because I mean, if I was there, I'd go. Right. If I was there, I'd go, no question. But but god damn, it's just so fucking sad, It's just so sad. And there's like a feeling that I have where the worst people, they're like, they're getting what they want.
Yeah.
And there's no justice to it, and it's
Yeah,
just
that's what I
bullshit.
feel. I feel like we're just seeing the power, like the power of billionaires, I mean, it's just like a really a
Yeah,
small select group of people, like Fisher and his cronies, or they
yeah,
just bought this thing and they just take it, and it's like they take their ball and go, and it's like we can't go to the other playground. Like we can't, like that's it, dude.
yeah.
Like that's it, and it's like I think I told you last year at your house, it's like you're watching the Hamburglar rob you. It's like
That's right.
this incompetent
Oh,
robber is just
so
robbing your house,
funny.
and you're just kind of like sitting there. You can't do anything about it, And it's like
The
this
Hamburglar,
idiot is
man.
robbing me, like this guy, and it's like yes. But
What a fucking, what a
well, I
fucking,
saw your
yeah.
tweet though. I think so. We're recording this on Saturday. I think it was either earlier today or yesterday. You were saying, you want to do the fifth inning. I mean, I know you're not going to be here, but it was your kind of your baby, your idea, the fifth inning. You know, uh, going quiet for
Yeah.
the first out and then going nuts, saying sell the team. And it seems like that's getting traction. I saw Jorge, the Oakland 68, said let's do it. And if he's down, it's pretty much kind of like it's almost I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's like the Oakland
I think
68 say
I think
okay.
like I think like if people I think there's going to be a big overlap of people who were at the the reverse boycott. So I think if enough people want to do it and they stand up and do it. So I might text last dive bar guys and say like, hey man, if I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe it's maybe the chant is I don't know if the chant is still sell the team or if the chant is let's go
I think it's
Oakland.
got to be solid. I mean, that's like the rallying
Yeah,
cry of this whole movement,
I think so,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, it's just
I mean,
but
yeah.
that was fun. That was meaningful. I think that there's going to be some other sort of meaningful things. I think people will enjoy the game themselves. It is I think people who are still upset about the stadium giveaway, I think everyone has a right to be upset about it because they're just saying like, well, if you eat your vegetables first, then we'll give you the treat,
It's
and it's like we're adults, you son of a bitch. And this isn't even 20 years ago where I feel, you look at this video of like the Browns last game or something in Cleveland, and people just like trashed the fucking stadium. They're ripping out seats and throwing them on the field, but like that's just not that
it's not
era
gonna
anymore. People are
and it's
not
not
going to
gonna
do that.
yeah, it's like people
People are
know
not
like
going to throw that thing, but like fine. It is they made that decision. I do think that the idea of giving people a voucher uh, and then getting it at the end of the game, so there's not like a rush to leave the stadium. I think that that's as good of whoever in the A's you know business offices was tasked with the we're not going to let them have the stadiums at the beginning of the game. Figure out how to give them away. I think this is the best way to do it. It's gonna definitely be a disaster, but
yeah, I
whatever.
just
Who
don't
gives a shit?
understand like what do they lose by giving it to people at the beginning
They're
of the game?
worried that people are gonna throw it on the field. They're worried that there's gonna be like a mass
That's
amount
so
of people throwing it on
stupid.
the
Like,
field.
dude, that's
But
so
like, there's
stupid, dude.
first of all, with all the with all the fences,
Yeah, the
you know,
netting, like the
with all the
netting. Yeah,
netting,
yeah, yeah.
like like you have to have a really good arm to throw a commemorative desk stadium onto the field. So it ain't that's not going to happen. And I mean the outfield, whatever. It's inane. It's inane, but whatever. That they're
It's just so stupid. Like they can't do anything. They can't just do anything normal. And it's also I just don't like how they're almost making fans decide, um, because even in the description, so basically, if people don't know, basically they're giving away 25,000 replica stadiums the last game, and they're expecting 40 plus thousand fans. So the first 25,000 people are going to get a voucher, and then beginning in the seventh inning, they're going to start handing them out at the gates. But of course, in order to get them, you have to leave. So it's almost like they're incentivizing people to leave the game early. And I thought it was interesting what Last Dive Bar said. They said they actually want the visuals. They want as few people in there as possible for the final out, actually, for the visuals. What do you think about that? Or is that
I
another
don't think
LDB conspiracy?
I think that that's an LDB conspiracy. I think that they don't want people to have a lot of things that they could. I think that they're imagining that everyone takes the giveaway and throws it on the field and players get injured because they have all these things. But like people have bottled water. They could throw bottled water on the field. It's just like people just ain't gonna do that. And it's fine. It's whatever it is, but it's sort of one last indignity and one last the people at the top don't trust, don't care, don't give a shit,
Well,
I
they go
saw that.
beyond that. Yeah, they go like,
Yeah. Well, I just I they don't have any connection to the fan base anymore.
mm-mm.
They
They got
long
rid of
ago,
everybody. Yeah.
long ago they decided that the fan base are their personal enemies because the fan base, fair or not fair, ridiculed them, and seemed to not. They felt like the fans never understood their predicament, and their predicament had always been, we have terrible revenue at this stadium, and there's the only thing we can do about it is get a new stadium. And people are always giving a shit for trading all of our players away, but like, there's nothing we can do about it because nobody shows up, and and they got tired of people telling them that they were bad at their jobs and sucked. And eventually I think they just felt like the fan base doesn't understand what we do, and they will hate us no matter what we do, and so fuck them. And whenever they're like a problem to be managed and not your customers, and not a people who have a deep emotional connection to their city and deep pride in their city and pride in their team. And so at this point they can't fucking wait to be the Athletics. They can't wait to be the Athletics. As and like Dave Cavill saying like, "Oh, we're gonna do a lot of fun things to celebrate this shit." No, you didn't. You didn't. It
No.
would have been fucking awkward, and you did some things. You did the minimum.
I love how he
You
said,
did.
"See you at the ballpark." He didn't show up once all season,
Well,
dude. As
of
far as we
course
know, as
not.
far as we
Of
know.
course not. Yeah, but like, yeah, that's just who he is, man.
I mean, he couldn't come for an
He's
alumni Sunday and just like, at least just show his face. Like, like he didn't, he literally put zero, as far as we know, Dave Cowell put zero effort into even doing anything for the A's. I mean, we saw him at the Vegas conference last week or 2 weeks ago in the construction conference. And I believe that's the first time he's been out in public since the Sacramento
well,
announcement. I mean,
like he's some grease some classless A's fan, called his cell phone a year and a half ago and said, "I know where you live," which is not a good thing. to
No,
do
yeah.
obviously
I didn't
bad.
know that. Yeah,
But
I
but
didn't.
well, I think I remember like on that somebody like released his cell phone on Facebook like a
Yeah.
year and a half ago or something, and I'm sure somebody called him and said, "We know where you live."
Yeah.
But like, and ever since that, he's just, he's like, "Oh, well, I can't actually go talk to these people. They'll kill me. It's not safe."
I mean,
And
that's
yeah,
it's yeah.
if he'd come to the alumni, he would have gotten booed like very badly. Like he wouldn't have been able to say anything. They just would have booed the shit out of him. But
Yeah.
like also take your fucking medicine, bud.
Yeah.
Take
I
your
mean that
medicine.
well, I just don't like how the A's are like trying to paint the fans like they're these menaces. Like we're like I don't know. Like so Tim Kuhn from ESPN.com came out with this
Yeah.
article yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's
I want to talk about
basically
that.
the front office is like warning the A's players about the final game and telling them don't stick around with your family afterwards. Like get out of there. Like as soon as the game's over, get out of there. Don't hang around on the field. Like don't like and even yeah, Seth Brown, he said, the fans have always supported us, and we just hope they support us in a positive manner. It's why would like I don't it's like weird and I don't know. There's been I forget some other people said there was like some rumblings about other stuff, but I don't know, man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
and to be honest, like I wouldn't be surprised. Like my advice to anyone listening to this is like don't go on the field on Thursday. Like don't do that. Like I'm
I
I'm
think
not
honestly they
like
should just open up the
I'm
field as soon as the game's over and just let people
that
go on
would
the
be
field
a
and take
great
photos.
fucking idea. That
Yeah.
would be a great fucking idea. Like that ain't even it's not even I don't know. I don't know what they're like, if they legally have to deliver the field to to like at the after the end of their lease, like are they gonna like lose their security deposit if all the fans run on the field and trash the
No.
field and start ripping up the turf? Because that's what people would do, right? They would like start ripping up the turf. But uh but like that's what
But
they should do, right? But again, I think Casey's been out there saying like don't throw anything on the field and like I don't know, man. Like yeah, don't create dangerous. I would say I would just say don't create for anyone. Don't run on the field because that can create a dangerous situation for players.
yeah.
Don't throw things at players because that's dangerous. Nobody likes that. Like don't throw a big heavy fucking thing on the, like don't throw a stadium,
Just don't throw anything on the field.
just
Yeah.
don't do shit. Just be safe. Be safe. We're fine. But like also just like I also fucking get it. I'm mad. I'm
Yeah.
so mad about it. And I think I think that we won't see anything
I
that
don't
these
think it's gonna
people
be
are.
violent. I think it's just gonna be
No,
people like, oh man, like this, like, oh, I'm gonna miss this
there
place. I think that's the
like there
overall
will
sentiment is
be
people are just gonna miss the experience,
there will be a form of protest, and like, and if the A's security people are listening to this podcast, like I don't know anything other than I know that nobody's going to do something stupid. Like just chill. Like honestly just chill. A's security. Like nobody's planning some like huge
I
whatever. There will be
know.
protests. Like there will be protests, there will be horrible things said, but like I think what makes me mad about it is that they're trying to, sort of insinuate, there's this insinuation that, oh, there's the seedy people who are going to protest this. Like, bro, you were the one who created this situation.
Yeah, I know.
Like, like you are to blame.
No, I know. I mean,
Like, take your medicine.
well, that it's just weird how like it reminds me of the Safari Gate, when
Yeah.
like when that rooted in Oakland truck, the A's fans found it was being auctioned off.
They're gonna beat us up.
Somehow they tracked it down, so it's like,
We just want to buy your car.
yeah, Rob and Rob and Gabe go there dressed up hella goofy in safari outfits, and then the A's are on the other side of the phone, be like, oh, you better, like, here comes the mob with the
They're
pitchforks and the
coming,
flames,
they're coming,
like the
oh no.
torches. Like, dude, it was two guys who were just in costumes who want to buy your thing. They're trying to make a YouTube,
Yeah.
like, it's like, dude, it's not, it's Ace fans aren't like malicious and like, dude, they're just, I mean, we're mad, yeah, but we're not
Oh my
like, I mean,
God.
and
It's
LDB keeps on saying, like, dude, they've had, 15,000, 10 to 15,000 people at Jack London for Fans Fest. We had the reverse boycott in the parking lot. We had opening day in the parking lot, like, and all that stuff went off fine, dude. It's like, it's kind of like this honor code. Like, fans are kind of policing themselves. And if you're actually at the events, you realize it's like an incredible feeling of like community. It's a actually very positive vibe,
yeah.
and for them to try to characterize it like, oh, these misfits are coming to take, it's like, dude, no, like there's just people who are upset and they need somewhere to get their emotions out, and the A's
Well,
aren't providing
and
any.
it's partly, I mean, it's partly the way that the A, the people that have the A's have to rationalize this for themselves too, because
Yeah, we're not
they're
wrong. Yeah, we're
they're
not. It's not us.
clearly, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You want to make the other people who are telling you you're a fucking asshole, make them smaller.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
And you know what I've started to
Good luck.
do? I've started to think about where the reverse boycott fits, like in my all-time favorite A's moments, and I think it's got to be. I still think game 162 in 2012 for me, because that was
Yeah,
like pure baseball joy. Like,
yeah,
this was like still 10 years off from all this stuff kind of
yeah,
going down. It was like we were just
yeah,
still locked in on baseball. Like,
yeah.
team came out of nowhere. Like, that was just pure ecstasy. I think for me,
Back,
I was only 2.5 when the World Series happened, so that's not really
yeah,
relevant for me. But for me, it was like 2012 was crazy. Reverse boycott. Ramon Hernandez's walk-off bunt against the Red Sox in 2002 in the playoffs.
yeah.
I mean, Dallas Braden's perfect game. But it's weird. It's like it's just so weird to talk about the stuff in the past tense. Like, oh, this what like I don't know, man. Like, it should keep going. Like JVB 43 Steven, who we had on last week, he keeps on putting all these nostalgic posts, and they're just hitting me every time. I'm like, Fisher really did just rid like one of the baseball's most historic franchises, and he just stripped it down. It's just so sad. Like, there's so much history, so many great moments at that place, and I'm sure at some point people hated Fenway, people hated Wrigley. I'm not saying like the Coliseum could become a baseball jewel like that, but it's like, dude, like, it's not that bad. And then they say it's unviable, but Sutter Health is viable. Like, how does that make any sense? Anyways. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't think I don't think I'm nearly as hopeful. I don't know if anyone really is hopeful. I don't think that the A's will ever, well, I don't know
I
if they
know,
make
but
the
that's why
playoff.
they're
If they
gonna.
make the playoffs, I don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll play in San Francisco or something. Like, I also saw that part of the problem might be that because in the playoffs the players get a cut of the gate, that the
Mhm.
players will want to play in a bigger stadium.
It's like
I don't
basically
know,
the
but
team, MLB, and the players will all be aligned, so therefore they're probably gonna do it.
I don't think that the A's will ever play another regular season game in Oakland. Unless they're the visiting team.
Yeah.
Uh, in 10 years or 20 years or whatever. But um, I don't think that they ever will. I think that Scott Boras is, he is doing what agents do, which is making a big
Stir up the pot.
noise, making a big
Yeah.
noise about how he's protecting his clients, and they'll figure out some bullshit that they'll agree to or whatever. But
Yeah, another scenario I think too is likely. Like, I think the biggest issue is the facilities and the turf, but I was thinking, like, Modesto, their team is leaving, so maybe next year it's too late because the A's and River Cats have already combined forces, but maybe by next year if the River Cats go to Modesto, they put in natural grass again at Sutter Health Park, it would
yeah,
be much more palatable in 26, and the A's would just have dedicated use for the facilities, because another thing I'm
yeah,
thinking about is, like, say the A's player needs to rehab or like get some work in. Um, sometimes they use the Coliseum facilities when the team's on the road. Like, I don't know, they're not going to be able to do that, and vice versa too. It's like,
Yeah,
somebody needs to
I
get
mean, they'll
something.
find some place, right? Well, whatever. Who
I
cares?
don't know. I
Who
mean,
gives a shit?
it's just not. I still think I think next year I still think 2026 is up in the air. Just because I think we don't know what 2025 is going to be like. We don't know how much of a shit show it's going to be there next year. So um, I I I still think there's like a small chance they do come back to the Coliseum. I mean, maybe just because of what I heard from Casey and
Yeah,
Scott Boris, but it's like,
I don't know. I
I
mean, I also
mean,
like
yeah, nothing
that.
nothing makes sense in this process either. So I don't know.
Who's
Yeah,
the Kings owner? What's his name?
Vivek, yeah, run a Vivek.
Vivek seems like he's like less of an idiot than John Fisher, and so I think that he'll figure out a way to make it work because he's the host. So
Yeah,
he'll just bail out John Fisher a bunch of times. So whatever.
yeah.
Um, Stinks. The Ballers. They made the playoffs, but they
I know
got
Paul and Brian can
eliminated.
never say it, but I bet I bet they
They're so
wish
mad.
so bad
They're
that the
so mad.
Ballers beat. I mean,
They're
it's so
so
funny. You
mad.
create a
It's
second
so
team
funny.
like out of necessity. Like, all right, well,
You
all right, here's
created the
another.
second team out of necessity. Not only that, but also they played each other for like 40% of their games or
Yeah, they
something, right?
played a
Because
lot.
no
Yeah,
other teams wanted to come to California, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I was joking with them before the season, being like, well, you gotta make sure that, you know,
yeah,
that the YOLO team isn't too bad,
yeah.
right? Because like, you gotta stand them up and it's gotta be like legitimate. And obviously they are thinking, oh my God, we paid money for this team to beat us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was also thinking, like, after the game, I tried to interview Brian. He's like, "Not right now, sorry." I was like, "Okay, okay," but I wonder if they lost, just financially. Like, they had like they had like over 3,000 fans for each of the playoff games there.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're not really getting much of a gate or if any gate at all at UC Davis. So it's just like, I bet he
I
was
don't
thinking, he's like,
know.
"Damn, we got to fly this team into Montana so they can go to Davis and they're not even coming to
Yeah,
Oakland, you
I know,
know?
right?
I
Now they're
mean,
gonna pay for them to go to day. Yeah.
I
And
mean, because
I'm
they
sure
subsidize the flights. That's what they told me. They help
the
subsidize the
pine.
flights for the other teams. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because they gotta
Because
pay
that
for
was
the
part of the deal
Montana team to
too.
come out.
Yeah,
Oh my God, yeah. And the Pioneer League probably wasn't that happy about it either because now they got the championship is being played in front of nobody in
yeah.
Davis.
I mean,
I
because
don't know.
I think
I don't know.
the
I don't think anybody has ever been interested in that team in yellow, but in Davis. But
Yeah, I mean, because the president of the Pioneer League is telling me, like they're trying to expand in California, and I think the Ballers are trying to be their like flagship California franchise.
well,
So
yeah,
it's like, damn,
obviously.
yeah. So it's like, damn, that's
Yeah.
too bad. But I mean, hey, that's why they play the game.
I mean, in some sense, I'm happy because I'm like, oh, it wasn't fixed.
Yeah, it was like legit. It like legitimizes. But now you're gonna watch the Ballers win like 8 straight Pioneer League titles. So they just did that to sucker us in. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
I mean,
that
I
was
think
still
the
incredible
question.
though. The Bees was really good and it really ticked up in the last like month. It was so much fun there. I was thinking that too, like how weird the summer would have been if it was only the A's. Like that would have been miserable, dude. That would have been really rough. So thanks to Paul and Brian for. I know they probably could have done everything as perfectly as they wanted to, especially the housing at the beginning. But I just want to thank them for bringing the Bees to us, giving us that outlet. And I thought Anson had a really good point. He's like, say in some fantasy world the A's do come back. He's like, I'm still just gonna go to Bees games. Like, I'm not gonna go to A's games. Like, it's like some people have already like they switched the league. Like they could
Well, the
argue.
bees, yeah, the bees hope. I I think that the bees need an uptick in attendance next year. I think it's understandable that they struggled a little bit with attendance here and there, and the way that the games where they're like at home for like an entire week or 2 weeks at a time, it really people don't want to, people go to 3 games in a week and they're like, okay, I've had enough, I'll come back in 2 weeks, but uh and I get it that they didn't make all their, they didn't,
I'd assume they
their
lost money
attendance.
I'd assume they lost money this year, but like they had to have known going into it,
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. They're, I mean, I mean, I think that the Roots still are losing money, so it takes a lot to make money in sports, and they're not that close. But so I think the Ballers need to have a lot more attendance next season than this season, and I think that they got a good chance because the A's won't be there anymore. They'll be all the way in Sacramento. And so I think that there'll be a lot more opportunities for people to go to Bees games. Um, but
Yeah, I think the word is
but
out
yeah,
too. I think the word is
the
out.
word is the word is out, but we'll see. But we'll
Yeah.
see. I think that they ended on a real strong note, and it sounds like it was a lot. I mean, I was only there for the first week. People were having a good time, but I'm glad to see that they had that big uptick in attendance the final month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still I don't think this A stuff is really gonna hit me till um I don't know. I don't know if a really long time. I don't think I've really fully confronted it yet, but I
I think
told
there'll
myself I would
be.
have, and also this whole 2026, even if it's not, like just the fact that the door's cracked open, like, or even if it isn't, even the fact I think it is kind of messing with me too.
I don't think it is. I really think that they're gone forever. I really just think that I
It would be so messy to bring him back, dude. Like, what are you gonna
it
hire
would
all the
be
people
it
you laid
just
off? Like, yeah,
doesn't make sense. It
yeah.
just doesn't make sense for any, like they would just figure out it would be more likely that they would put the river cats in the Coliseum.
That would be so funny
Right?
if they
Like
switched.
that would be the better solution, I think, probably. But
Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah.
I mean, I think that it will be a whole new pain in the fucking ass next season when you see them on the field with just athletics, gray, the athletics.
Yeah.
And they play in Sacramento, and frankly, they're gonna have better attendance
Hmm.
next season than they had this season. And
And they're charging more for
you know,
tickets too. So they're
yeah,
creating this scarcity. Like, yeah.
and I just, yeah, I mean, like, it's
And they
just,
staff less people. Like, I think he's probably going to make more money up there just because he has way lower overhead,
oh my
And
God, yes.
yeah,
Oh my God, yes. He's gonna
yeah,
make way more money and he doesn't
yeah.
have to pay for anything
Dude,
because
he's already got
Vivek's
free labor. Like, yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's such a sham, dude. The whole thing's a sham, dude. And the
in some
yeah,
sense, I'm just, I'm looking forward to it being over, you
yeah.
know, and just over.
Yeah, I honestly, and
And
I'm gonna get a lot of my life back. This is like 6 months of my life I'm gonna get back, which is nice. 6 months a year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it just being fully over forever. And
yeah.
maybe maybe they'll get an expansion team, but
Won't be
I
my
don't think
A's.
they
Won't
will.
be my A's. But yeah, all right. So
I
yeah,
I know that it won't be your A's, and I know this is not important, but like because it's not going to happen. But I guarantee you that if they bring an expansion team to Oakland, you will forget about the A's so fast.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. And especially if it's major. I don't know, because I just hate Major League Baseball so much at this point. It's like I don't know, man.
Yeah, but like they'll be like, yeah, I know,
I
I
don't
know.
know. It would be a lot. Yeah. I mean, if they played at the Coliseum, they had a good owner, maybe we'll
Listen,
have a conversation.
I used to vend Baltimore Ravens games all the time. And I think I've said this before. I used to vend a lot of Baltimore Ravens games, and you'd see here and there a Johnny Unitas Colts jersey. But everyone just loved the Ravens. They
Yeah.
love the Ravens,
They love their team over there. Yeah, they
they
love the
love their
Ravens.
team, man, because it was their team and they
And
got their
it's
team back.
you're like born and raised in
And
Baltimore. Yeah. Yeah.
and you know what? They stole that fucking team from Cleveland.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit. but they got their team back, man. And I think if you ever get if the if Oakland ever gets a major league team back, you'll love them.
Yeah.
And you'll forget these fuckers except when they come to town and you'll boo the shit out of them.
Yeah, I saw your Wimbledon FC post or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
they were the only team in England to relocate, and then like their fans
Yeah.
started another team. Like what was that all about? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm not like an expert on this, so like I may say one or two things wrong, but I think in the early '90s, Wimbledon FC, which is near where they had the tennis tournament in, I think that's in South London, but I'm not. It's somewhere in London, but they're called the Dons because Wimbledon, and they moved. To a new stadium in the like sort of exurbs uh, of London because there was this sort, people started these new suburbs and new exurbs, and there was just like not a team there, and there's a very large suburb called Milton Keynes. I think like a lot of the F1 like it's like it's like
Upper
a
class, like really rich.
it's like kind of like yeah it's like kind of like office parks and like kind of more affluent people.
Like the South Bay, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Don't hold me to that. I think
Yeah.
it's people don't really like it that much, but yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like a soulless. They moved to a soulless suburb and they named themselves the MK Dons. And after this, uh, the UK made a law that said you can't move your team.
That's wild.
Like this was so
Imagine
upsetting to
that
people.
world.
and
Yeah.
and with promotion relegation it works out, right? Because like every little hamlet, every little place has a team, and that team, if some bullshit little city, on in the middle of the desert 100 years later becomes this gigantic thriving metropolis like Las Vegas. Well, every little town and hamlet has its team. And if the city grows up and becomes big, then the team will grow up with it and move up the ranks. And so you can't move your team anymore. They say just you can't move the team. And one thing's for certain, they don't get as much money from the governments because they can't threaten to leave. They can't extort money from governments because they can't go anywhere. So the team left about 10 years later. Fans started their own team, and AFC Wimbledon, as the fan owned team is now owned, is still owned by the fans. So when they started it, they said nobody can buy this from us. We're going to own this forever. Now AFC Wimbledon has some problems because they're owned by the fans. Ryan Reynolds can't move in and buy them and splash a bunch of money, or some Saudi sheik can't come in and buy them and start splashing a bunch of money like all these other clubs that move up. But AFC Wimbledon is in the fourth division. And of course, the MK Dons have not been that successful having moved to this soulless suburb. And so the MK Dons are also in the fourth division this year. So they play each other. And, when they play each other, they refuse to, the AFC Wimbledon refuse to, call them
Like
by
acknowledge
their
them,
new
right?
name
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
acknowledge them. They just
Yeah.
call it that other team or something. Or or the and they're this it's just such a huge rivalry. And yeah, they beat them 3-0, and it just, you see that and you think, God, like what's frustrating about this is that because there's not this promotion and relegation, there's no hope really, unless somehow MLB allows it to happen. There's just like no hope of getting that justice, of like, let's rebuild our team, and let's maybe the city of Oakland will build a stadium at Howard Terminal or something, or allow somebody to build it, and then we'll build the bees back up, and the
I
bees
was gonna
will,
say they got to have an A's versus B's annual game.
it'd be great.
That'd be
Yeah,
so funny.
but
Yeah.
but
Obviously,
that's
never
never
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen. So
Oh,
and
that
the
would be so
bees are
funny.
just not.
Yeah.
They're never going to be that.
I mean, they would get worse. They would get worse, but it would be
They're never going to be
good.
that. And so that's frustrating. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's in
Yeah.
some sense, I'm really glad that I'm not going to have to go and cry and
Yeah.
be furious
Yeah.
um, at what was taken from us.
But your
But
spirit will live on in the fifth inning, dude. We'll be there in the fifth inning, and
we'll
I'll be
see.
I'll make sure to take a video. Last time I didn't take a video, and I kicked myself. I look back in my video from the reverse boycott. I'm like, why didn't you film the fifth inning?
Yeah,
I think I wanted to experience it as a human, but now like I'm like, damn, I should have recorded that. Yeah, but yeah,
I too didn't really film it. I think I filmed like bits and pieces of it, but other people filmed it and also like it was powerful. So, I don't know. I don't know if we'll do that again. I encourage people to do it just because I think that
I
was
think it's gonna
fun.
happen. I think you planted the seed. I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, hopefully people, but like also, if people don't want to do it, then don't do it. It's not no skin off my back.
Yeah,
It's like whatever.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, for
yeah.
people who are listening, if you're still listening and you're having trouble finding 2 tickets to the game, DM me on Twitter because I still have 2 tickets that I'm not going to use. I have them up
Oh,
for
hey,
sale. I have them
oh.
up for sale, but they haven't been bought yet. So if DM me if you're still listening to the podcast and
That's the
you
Easter
and you
egg for
need two
people listening. This
tickets,
is what you get
there you
for
go.
listening to the
There you
end.
go. DM me.
Yeah,
But enjoy it.
yeah.
And be mad if you want to be mad. Be sad if you want to be sad. And enjoy it however you want to enjoy it.
Be a dad if you want to be a dad.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a choice. I
Well, dude, good luck to you and Kelsey tomorrow. Big day tomorrow, man. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
the induction. Yeah, well, hopefully,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, cool, man.
All right, man. Well, yeah, it's gonna be weird, but I'm sure you'll be following along, and I'll be posting, and I'll try to post a bunch of stuff on Thursday as I can. But that's another thing. It's hard for me to because I want to just enjoy it, just like a normal person, but I also feel like I have to document it. So it's like this weird tug of war. But I feel like I got to document it.
It is yeah, it's
I feel like
it'll
it's
be
my job. I
fine.
feel like I have to do it almost. It's
It's
like,
not really, yeah. I don't know, man.
yeah.
It's Listen, the you're getting laid off from being the Oakland A's correspondent here too.
I know, but it's
It's
like it's not even about that. I just want
I
like
know.
a
Yeah, you want
the
to like
A's. I want A's fans to be remembered correctly, I guess, is
yeah,
my mission
yeah.
at this point,
Hey, your video, those guys going all hyphy, man. They got a lot of likes on Twitter, I saw, and
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, it's like fucking fun, man.
I know. It's like yeah. I don't know. There's nothing like a Bay Area sporting event, man. It's like yeah. When I saw that video, it reminded me of Raiders games. Like, I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
it's so much fun, dude. Yeah. So,
I mean,
we'll see.
honestly,
Yeah, yeah.
I hope I hope they just fucking crank hyphy. Like I know that they won't, right? At the end of the game, they'll like stop playing music and they'll just be like, everyone get out. But
Yeah.
if they had, if there was any fucking justice, they would just start cranking hyphy tunes, man.
Yeah, just let
Like
it be
at
a
the
part
end,
of it.
and like they did at the end of the
But yeah,
Raiders.
they did it at the Raiders game. They that's what they did. They just played barrier and like people were just sitting and chilling, like just hanging out, and like the Raiders handled it so much better than the A's.
The
It's
Raiders
insane,
had, I mean, and the Raiders didn't handle it very well, but they handled it so much
So
better.
yeah, it's like it's crazy, man. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know, it's gonna be emotional and um but yeah, we'll be thinking about you. So
Well,
um
whatever. I mean, think about yourself and think about all your times. And,
yeah,
I just, at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like, I just wish that I wish that I could tell you, we'll get him eventually. We'll get the
I don't think we
Hamburglar
will.
eventually. But, like,
Yeah.
fuck.
I really feel like this is like we're we're like a sinking ship, and we're just saying like "fuck you" as we go underwater. You know, it's
Yeah, like
like at least
the
it's a fun
guys who
pirate. At least it's a fun sinking ship.
yeah, it's a fun thing. But the fucking captain who drove us into an iceberg is the only one
He's on a
on a
lifeboat.
lifeboat,
Yeah,
and
he's fine.
he's like, he's got his oar and he's just not, wrapping people's knuckles as they grab onto the
And
lifeboat. Get off that!
Uncle
Get
Vivek is
off!
pulling him in. Yeah,
Get off!
yeah,
You animals! You
yeah.
animals! Get off my lifeboat!
Stop throwing your replica in my raft.
Stop throwing your
Yeah.
replica Titanic at me.
Yeah, so we'll see what it's like, but I just think it's going to be more sadness and appreciation more than anger, you know. But we shall see how it
Yeah.
plays out. So
And shout out to all those workers, man. I saw, a lot of pictures of old vendors who
yeah,
I don't know if people know that most of the vendors who've worked there the longest are the souvenir guys. So they end up after a while after a while the souvenir guys um they make commission. So those were most of the people working those souvenir stands have been were vendors in 1968. Like a lot of them. They were young guys selling beer and peanuts and hot dogs in 1968, and they've been there ever since. And yeah, I mean, shout out to all those guys, man. Like,
yeah, it's going to be
fuck.
tough. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody, Shout out to like,
I am really
shout out
proud
to
about
everybody.
A's. Yeah, I'm really proud about A's fans like just kind of banding together. Like, yeah, the circumstances suck, but it's like, I'm proud to be part of this community, you know? It's
Yeah.
like at least we
And
tried, you know. It's like we did everything we
yeah,
could. We're pretty powerless, in the situation, but we tried, we didn't go out quietly, and at least we tried, you know. So, yeah. All right.
yeah.
Well,
And you know what?
well, good
Fuck
luck to
John Fisher.
you and Kelsey, dude. And
Yeah.
maybe see you at the Coliseum next year with the Roots, with the little guy.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking, it's such a shame that I'll never be able to bring my son to an A's game, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll come out for a Roots game. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll be
Yeah.
out there.
Got to show him the Coliseum, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Mike will be out there with the hot dog steamer. So
Yeah. All right.
Mike's been killing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean now he's blowing up because Cal Twitter has become a national storyline. It's
The
like
algorithm.
the Cal
Yeah.
algorithm. I fucking love it, dude. And so they're like
Yeah.
using their own. It's like you can't say anything against them. I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But anyways, all right, Hal. Well, thanks for the chat, and I don't know. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.